Hi and welcome to episode 5 of the Talk is Cheap show, a show that looks at matters in football, mainly related to Arsenal, but not exclusively so. But before we get any further, I want to introduce my homie, Big C.
How you saying, bro?
What you saying, bro?
Good
You
to
all
see
right?
you, man.
Cool?
Yeah.
Everything, Chris?
Well, everything apart from Arsenal. You know how that goes.
Well, you know how it goes, man. You know how it goes. We've got a great show lined up for you this week, but before we delve deep into the matters, we want to go through some of the stuff we talked about last week. Just want to say, first of all, thanks for all your positive messages. Keep the comments and messages coming through. We want the show to be as interactive as possible, don't we? Right, regarding the two subjects we spoke about last week, regarding AFTV, we asked, do you consider AFTV to be embarrassing or entertaining? We had a lot of responses, and I'm happy to say that overwhelmingly you voted in favour of AFTV, which is good, yeah. 86% of you said that you support the channel and you think that what we do is entertaining and is a force for good, so I'm very pleased about that. 4% of you said that you thought AFTV was largely negative and embarrasses the Arsenal fan base. And 10% of you had mixed thoughts. You said that AFTV can be both entertaining and embarrassing at the same time. So hey, we thank you for your votes. Keep it coming. And yeah, thank you very much. So now we have a brief review of Arsenal's last fixture. Leicester away, we came up short, 2-0. Curtis.
Well,
what do you think, man?
It was another one in that category that you just want to put in the bin and forget about, I think. It was a disappointing result. We was playing in yellow and we kind of mimicked Watford a little bit. You know, we looked like a relegation team going there, hanging on. I was a little bit disappointed with the lack of ambition in trying to win the game. I know you thought we needed to maybe sit back a bit, but I felt we was too respectful of them and their quality. Right. I would have liked to have seen us press them a little bit more from the front. I think Emery at times, he's setting up almost too worried about the opposition instead of focusing on our quality ourselves. So it was, but in the end, yeah, disappointing 2-0 defeat.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately it was disappointing, but I slightly differed from you because we did the live stream. Shout out to all the people who watched the live stream, by the way. We had good numbers. So respect for that. But yeah, my impression of the game was I was a little of a different view to you because I could understand why we didn't go gung-ho and press really high at the pitch and take it to them, because I thought then you leave gaps in behind for the likes of Vardy to exploit. So I thought in the first half we were disciplined, we were measured. We were competitive, didn't we? We created a couple of chances.
Should have scored.
Should have scored.
Yeah.
And we did all right. First 10, 15 minutes. The second half, I thought, again, we were disciplined, measured. We were in the game, we were competitive, and we had the goal that was disallowed.
Offside,
but once Leicester scored, which I think was 5 minutes after the disallowed goal, you could literally see the energy and the belief and the confidence drained from the side. Yeah. So unbalanced. And then when they scored the second one,
it was over. Yeah. I just think if your strength's in the attack, why be so defensive? We're going there set up to defend, but we can't defend. Yeah. So why not play on the front foot, try and score? I felt like you even said we needed to score first.
We did, yeah.
And when you're sitting back, you're not likely to score first. We were just soaking up the pressure. Even though we kept a clean sheet in the first half, I felt like we was hanging on. Vardy should have scored, you know, I just felt like...
But then we could also have scored.
We could have
had an excellent opportunity.
He should have scored.
He should have scored. Although I don't think it was a sitter like what...
Well, I think...
Because I think if you look at it again, at the moment where he strikes the ball, there's a Leicester player runs across him, so that would undoubtedly have put him off.
I still think he should score. But I get your point, yeah.
But listen, man, I mean, can we really say we were shocked, given the current run of form?
But I think we wanted to be shocked. Yeah, I wanted Emery to turn up and give us something different. Like, look, things are going bad, but this is what we're capable of. To me, it was the same old dross we've been watching. And I was quite bored watching it, to be honest. It wasn't a great game for an Arsenal fan, was it?
It wasn't. But, I mean, let's be honest, man. I mean, how many of us really believed? Perhaps that's an indicator of where we are as a club right now. How many Arsenal fans really believe that we were going to go to Leicester and get a win? I mean, I was hoping for a draw. as you were. And I
Yeah.
think most of the people I spoke to was in a similar type of thing.
I think we've got the players, but the manager, I don't think.
But hey, that's how it is, man.
It
We're
is,
just
yeah.
not there at the moment,
No.
but we keep going. Right, so for topic 1 of the show this week, following on from that game, the major talking point was, do we back him or sack him? And then later on in the week, we saw a statement that was released by the Arsenal board, basically saying that the club are going to back him, certainly for now. So I thought we would talk about what you feel about that, and hopefully get the listeners out there and the viewers to see what they think too. So,
I mean,
Curtis, take it away, man.
I mean, if you know my thoughts, I'm quite clear. I think Emery should have been moved on now. I think it's actually riskier to keep him in the job for another. I mean, they're saying possibly till the new year they'll give him. Looking at our December run of fixtures, if we get the results that it's looking like at the moment, we could have no chance of getting in the top 4 if we keep him. I mean, on one hand, we don't like managers being sacked quickly. We respect loyalty, but when it's your own club and you've got nothing to believe in, I can't see anything that Emery's doing that I can cling to and go, well, at least we're doing that right. We're not defending well.
You
We're
don't
not
see no
attacking
green
well.
shoots.
I can't see anything. Even the Xhaka situation, Ozil, they haven't been handled well. And then the way we're playing, it's just not a representation of how we want to see Arsenal playing. So
I mean, I
think
would agree there. I mean, let's look at the recent form. 1 win in 4. It's not looking great.
that's relegation form, isn't it? That's not top 4 form.
No, it's definitely not. Although, you know what, I'm going to try and strike a slightly more positive tone and say that, okay, apart from the Leicester game, we haven't been beaten to a pulp in any of these games. We're drawing them rather than losing them. And I think that we just need a win maybe to get some of the confidence back. Because listen, I heard my brother say on a previous show, and I do agree with him wholeheartedly, that we got the players, man.
Yeah.
Okay, things are not going well at the moment, but you know yourself, you play sport at the highest level. Confidence is at the top level is what it's all about.
Yeah.
If we can get a win and get some confidence going,
Can build on
we've
it.
got the players there that we can get a string of results together. I mean,
It's just getting that first win, isn't it? The thing what worries me, the fixtures we've played recently are games I've kept looking at and going, that's where we'll get the win. Palace at home will win that one.
but did you really think
Watford
we
at
were going to
home.
go to Leicester? And
Maybe
beat-
not Leicester. I was optimistic we might get a point. I didn't expect us to win. But Palace at home and Wolves at home, we should be winning them. If we're going to get in the top 4 with our firepower, we should be
Mind you,
beating
Wolves
both.
are not a bad team, you know.
Yeah,
They
we
beat
drew with
Man
them last
City.
year, but we just didn't turn up that day again, did we? I mean, we've got Southampton after the break at home. If he can't win that,
Potential relegation 6 point or something.
if he can't win that, there really is no hope for him. They've backed him. We've got to accept it, whether we like it or not. It's up to him to turn it around.
I mean, I can see why the club have backed him, to be honest.
Can you?
Yeah, I can, because, and I'll tell you why. Because, like I said, we have not been played off the park, have we? We've lost to Leicester, who are, let's face it, they're going to be up there.
Yeah.
If not challenging for the title, they'll certainly be challenging for a top 4 place. We've drawn with Man United, we drew with Tottenham. We've won a few games here and there. Yes, the performances haven't been great,
No.
but we're not getting played off the park. We're not getting spanked. And I think there is a confidence issue amongst the players. If we can get a good win, then we conceivably could turn some of those players' confidence around. For example, Pepe, Lacazette, people like that. And I think we might be close to being
Do you
up and running
think
again.
a bit of them keeping him from the board is almost like a weakness? They're not being brave enough to say, do you know what, we made a mistake and we need to get rid of him?
I think if you bringing in a new manager and you're giving him a 2 to 3 year contract, what we're in about a year and a half
Year and a
into
half,
it,
yeah.
unless things are going drastically wrong,
Yeah.
then, you know, if there's open warfare at the club,
They want to try
then,
stick.
yeah, you would want to do your best to be seen to be giving the manager a chance. So, listen, before the start of this, there was even rumblings of, or rumours of discontent before the season even
Yeah,
started,
yeah.
given the way we'd lost the
Europa.
Europa League and fell away towards the end of last season. But I think that On balance, I would give him at least until January. I mean,
Would you?
previously I was saying give him till the end of the season.
Now you're at
Things are not
January.
going, yeah, so I'm scaling that
One or
back a
two
little
bad
bit.
results, you might draw it all the way back to now, maybe.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is I can see why the board
Getting a sticking by.
are sticking by him.
My worry is just if we have a bad December, that the top four might have disappeared, and then we're just fighting for the Europa League, which is not what we want to be doing.
I mean, we got some difficult fixtures coming up, man.
Very
Yeah,
difficult.
I mean, let me. I did draw them out actually. Let me look at our fixtures. Our next 9 fixtures: Southampton at home, Norwich away, Brighton at home, West Ham away. And then we got some really difficult games: Man City at home, Everton away, Bournemouth away, which in previous years has been a difficult game for us. Chelsea at home and Man United at home.
So those next 3 games is where he's got to get the wins.
You would have
To
thought
try
he'll
and build
get
the confidence.
wins against Southampton and Norwich,
You would hope so.
and then Brighton at home.
You got to be winning
without
that.
being
Even though last
disrespectful, you'd
season we
expect it.
threw that game away as well. But
And
yeah.
even West Ham away. I mean, West Ham, their form at the moment is
Yeah.
dreadful, isn't it? So
Yeah.
those 4 games,
That's-
before we
he's
get
got-
to the Man City at home game, they are very winnable games.
He's got to save
And I
his
would
job
expect
here.
us to win at least 3 out of those 4. What do you say?
Yeah. The West Ham away is probably the trickiest. The other 3, he's got to get 9 points. If you don't, I don't see any, you don't want to be going into that Man City game and we're still not getting wins. So he's got the next maybe month to save his job.
Yeah, it's and then we've also got to consider even if they did get rid of him now,
Yeah.
the availability of other managers and who would you bring in? I mean, I know that's a subject for another day, but I know that who would you bring in if you?
Well, I'm a fan of Mourinho, I've said that, but I'm not saying it's only him. I wouldn't be against trying to get Allegri. Maybe even Brendan Rodgers, although I think it would
I
be
don't think we're gonna
difficult
get
to get
Rodgers.
him from Leicester. But maybe he might think long term it would be a bigger opportunity for him. People have said Lundberg. I'm not overly into that, but even at this stage, I would probably even go with that ahead of Emery. At least all the fans would get behind him. He would have a different vision. I just don't like the way Emery plays football. I just think it's too negative. But there's
But I think
people
even
out
that
there.
availability issue would, to me, would lead to the board erring on the side of caution because I mean, you're not going to get Brendan Rodgers, are you?
Mate, it'd
certainly
be
not
hard.
now.
Yeah, it'd be difficult.
And then even with the Mourinho thing,
He's going to need
I'm
money.
hearing that this so-called meeting that he had with Sanelli is fake news.
Okay.
And Allegri, it's unlikely that he's going to come halfway through the season. Will he have a budget to spend?
Well, that's the
A
problem.
manager of that profile is not going to want to come in halfway through a season, is he?
With no money
With
to
no
spend.
money, he's going to want to come.
I
you
think
know.
Mourinho would take the job under the right circumstances. He's been saying things in the press, Annie, that he wants to come back to the Premier League and his family are in London. So
But would Mourinho take it halfway through a season?
I think he
You
would.
think he would?
Yeah, I think he would.
And then Arteta, would he leave?
The
Pep
Arteta one
halfway
doesn't
through the
fill
season?
me with enthusiasm. I think, as I said before, I think this is bigger than being a good coach. We've got more problems than that. You need a real strong character, and Arteta, we don't know how he can deal with that.
And I think with the person coming in halfway through the season, the only person that you mentioned previously that I could see where that might be slightly feasible would be Freddie Ljungberg. And personally, for me, as much as we all love Freddie, and I know he's doing an outstanding job with the academy and people like that, but for him to take over halfway through the season, it's a little bit.
I mean, managers have done it. I remember Klopp took over Liverpool halfway through that season. I mean, if you're a good enough manager, I think you can jiggle things around and get it working. We've got enough quality there to work with.
I'm sure the players would respect Freddie, but I would think that, given what you were saying with some of the problems we've had at the club, you'd want somebody to come in with a totally
Clean slate. I
Just
think we need a real big character who demands respect.
Yeah,
Like
I'm not
this,
sure if Freddie's going to be that, is it?
which is where I'm saying I would
So
look at.
you
I would
stick-
like Jose, you know, because
Yeah.
I look at this team at the moment. They're like a naughty classroom who are playing up the manager. You need a strong character to sort them out. But we'll see. It don't look like it's going to happen for now, anyway.
Yeah, no,
So it's more Emery.
I can see why the club have backed him, and I can also see why a lot of fans, including
I've
yourself,
turned against.
don't agree and think we should make a change now. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, results is going to be the
What
key, is what's
dictates
going to
it, yeah.
decide things. And like I said, looking at those fixtures, the next 4 fixtures after the international break, I think, are very winnable.
Yeah.
And I would be surprised, or disappointed, shall I say,
If we
don't win at least 3 of those 4. And if he wins 3 of those 4, then he could be seen to be turning it around.
Let's hope so.
And so he's giving himself more time. But hey,
Hopefully.
you've heard what I've said, you've heard what Curtis has said. What do you guys think? Do you think we should back him? Or do you think, as a lot of people are saying, that he should sack him? If we do sack him, who would you like to see come in? Let us know. For our second topic, it's another weekend and yet another attack on AFTV by mainstream media. Yeah. More shots fired. Last week it was John Cross and Jason Burt. This week it's David Ornstein and Simon Jordan, to name but 2. So where shall I start? There was a piece that come out, and basically this piece was a hit piece. Well, a kind of hit piece anyway. And they were basically talking about Aubameyang's relationship with a well-known AFTV influencer, Troops, big up Troops, shout out to Troops. And they were basically implying that, well, he was saying in the article, wasn't he, that there are
players who aren't happy with the relationship.
not just the players, officials high up at the club, the Arsenal hierarchy, who are not happy at the relationship that certain players, and they named Aubameyang, has with certain AFT influencers. And the word was used, dismay, and stuff like that. And there was also a story about they were not happy that Aubameyang had allegedly invited Troops into his box, which we now know that that's not true.
Yeah.
And then that story was carried by all the papers. And then we later found out, courtesy of Aubameyang, he put out a statement that, you know, he
strong words,
called it BS.
Yeah.
And trashed it.
Yeah.
So what's your take on that?
I mean, I think in the modern game now, fans want to connect with players through social media. You can interact with these players. So I think it's positive that Aubameyang does interact with fans and AFTV. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think where he's got to be a bit careful is if you're liking tweets or posts that are criticising your team or manager. That's where I think Aubameyang's got to maybe draw a line. Even if he agrees with it, that's not going to help inside the dressing room. But in terms of him being friends with, for example, Troops and things like that, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't see what effect that has on the team whatsoever. And I think it's a strong statement from Aubameyang, what he said back. I know he said a few cross words, but he's saying, you know, I'm gonna live my life. I'm gonna be friends with who I want. He's been our best player since he's been at the club, so it's not like it's having any kind of negative effect on his performance.
No, listen, I'm with you on that. Aubameyang, to me, I kind of like what he did, actually.
Yeah.
Listen, whether these people in the press like it or not, social media is here to stay.
100.
I mean, listen, what was the biggest sporting event of the weekend? I'll tell you what it was. It was the Logan Paul KSI fight, yeah? Now, that fight was the biggest watched boxing match all year.
Yeah.
The figures for that surpassed even Joshua Ruiz.
Yeah.
Now, that tells you something.
Social media.
That tells you that social media is out there, it's alive and kicking. And I think that sport, in particular football, they need to embrace that side of things.
100%.
And I think that, as I said last time we discussed this, I think that there's a bit of a war going on between old media, the established media, and so-called new media. Fan channels like AFTV, okay? And I think that rather than look down on us and be pompous and condescending and all the rest of it, they need to perhaps learn the lessons
from what's going on,
in what's going on in social media and move forward that way rather than seek to look down their noses at us, you know? So
I think we said last week, I think people like John Cross and that, their nose has been put out a little bit.
Yeah.
They feel like the power's going out of the hands of the newspaper and it's going to social media, but they're trying to put it down instead of actually embracing it and taking it for what it is. But yeah, you know, as we're saying about Aubameyang, I think him embracing Troops and AFTV the way he has, I think it makes fans embrace him more because you can see that personal connection that he's got with the fans, which is what you want. I think when you was younger, you used to feel like footballers were inaccessible. They were like movie stars who you never saw, you could never speak to. he's speaking to fans, giving his shirt, interacting with people, and that's what you want to see. So I think, like you said, I think they need to get with the times a little bit and realise that times have changed.
They really do, because I mean, the way the mainstream media are coming across at the moment, I heard something that Simon Jordan had said, where he was questioning the IQ of people who give interviews on AFTV, and I thought that was a really
cheap shot, yeah.
And these guys, basically, they're just coming across as like sanctimonious curmudgeons, basically. And I don't think they get it. They just don't understand, you know what I mean, that there is a revolution taking place, and 100%. It is being televised. Yeah, but guess what? It's not being televised on national TV. It's being televised on social media. And what they also fail to understand and get is that a lot of the players, not just Aubameyang, because I know for a fact that there are other Arsenal players who watch AFTV and who like posts and et cetera, et cetera. So it's not just Aubameyang, as I'm sure he would tell you himself. So there is a place for it. The both can live alongside each other.
Yeah.
Like you said, players do have to exercise a degree of sensibility about
what they like,
and stuff like that, and what they post. But you know, it's like anything. If used in the right way, it can be a force for good.
100%.
What do you think?
Yeah, as I said, I think, you know, they need to embrace it more and understand what it is. This is the direction that traffic is going nowadays. We're not buying newspapers anymore, really, and social media is where the power is. And as I said, I think it's positive that a top player at Arsenal is connecting with people in that way. So
more players should do that.
Yeah, it'd be great if they did that.
Because listen, for a long time I've heard fans say that, particularly with the advent of the Premier League, they've said that the money that players earn has meant that the players are somewhat distanced, ostracised from the fans. Okay, so social media, the invention of social media, has created a space now whereby you can connect more with the players. Yeah. And as long as it's done in the right way, sensibly, it can work.
100%.
And it can bridge that gap that was there before. You know, you can interact with players, do it in a decent way. Yeah. Surely there's no harm in it. Yeah. And I just think that the mainstream media, they just need to just recognise what's going on
a little bit,
and get on board. But hey guys, let us know what you think. Do you think that social media has a role to play? Interaction with the players and between fans and players and the clubs and so forth? Let us know. Moving on, normally this section of the show would be our Ops of the Week. However, as you're probably now all aware, it's an international break this week. So we've got no Arsenal game to talk about. However, there has been a major talking point concerning the England game, or England games coming up this week. Certainly the game on Thursday against Montenegro. We've been told it's the omission of Raheem Sterling following an incident when the teams met up yesterday, involving Raheem Sterling and Joe Gomez, who had a little bit of a set-to on the pitch when Man City played Liverpool at the weekend. Gareth Southgate, rather controversially, has left out Raheem Sterling. Apparently there was an incident where Sterling had allegedly put hands on Gomez and left a mark under his eye. Joe Gomez apparently had gone to the England manager and said, look, you know, it's just handbags. We sorted it out. There's no need for it to go any further. But Gareth Southgate said, nope, not going to have this. He dropped Sterling and it's caused quite a bit of controversy. We found out about it this morning. Curtis, let me ask you what you think about it. You played football. You must have been in dressing rooms and seen this kind of stuff going before. What's your take on it, bro?
I mean, personally, I think I've seen far worse than this in a dressing room before. I've even been involved in far worse than this before.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And you know, I think a manager's number one job is to protect his players. And I think Southgate has fed Sterling to the wolves here, the Daily Mail, and people they're waiting for this kind of negativity, and I think he's fed right into it. Yeah. I feel like it should have been dealt with inside the dressing room. The fact the player himself, Gomez, is saying, leave it alone, it almost feels like Southgate is using it as an opportunity to show, like, I'm in charge. Let me prove a point, which I think, if I was Raheem Sterling personally and he did that, I wouldn't play the second game.
Wow.
I would have gone home. I'd say, you know what, you don't want to pick me on Thursday, don't pick me on Monday either. You know, so
strong stuff from the big
I mean, he's training today with Gomez. and there's no problem. Yet the manager's there, he's left him out. I think it's the 1,000th England game tomorrow, so it's quite a big occasion.
Yeah.
Sterling's been probably England's most informed attacking player, and you're leaving him out. So yeah, I'm disappointed in Southgate. I would have liked to have seen him deal with it in-house, play it down a little bit.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm also disappointed with Gareth Southgate. When he took over the job from Allardyce, I was one of those, I had my reservations about him because initially I kind of considered him to be a bit of a suit, as they say.
Yeah.
But he, he's taken over the job and he's done some good things. He's brought in the younger players. He seems to have restored the harmony. I mean, we were hearing before about little cliques in the England team and so. So maybe what he's done, is to basically stamp his authority and say, look, these cliques are not going to return, because what could have happened was you could have had the Gomez clique, the Liverpool guys, and the Man City, or the people who like Sterling versus the people who like Gomez. However, I've got to be with you, man. I mean, I'm baffled by this decision.
Yeah, no.
The guy's in the form of his life. He's been England's best attacking player, as you've said, for a while now. He's doing bits on the field. He's doing bits off the field. He's become a bit of a icon, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has.
Modern day icon. So I just don't understand it. It was a handbag situation. Like he said, Gomez apparently had gone to the manager and said, look, it was nothing. We squashed it. Okay, there's a little
mark under his eye,
but he doesn't seem too bothered by it. I think what he could have done was just got the two guys together and say, look,
sort it out, leave it.
Sort it out. Any more of this, you're both gone. But you know what? You live and you learn.
And a good point you made was, if they was playing Spain, Brazil, someone like that, would he have left Sterling out?
I was going to say that.
I don't think he would have.
Had we been playing, ask yourselves this, people, had we been playing France, Spain, Germany, Italy, Holland, the likes of those teams, would he really left him out? Because then
not a chance.
You'd have been cutting off your nose to spite your face, and I don't think Gareth Southgate would do that. So
no chance.
I'm with you. This strikes me as Gareth Southgate. There's a bit of power play going on here.
Yeah.
He wants to show I'm the man in charge. I'm not afraid to make big decisions, but it could backfire on him, because you're going to have a guy like Sterling. He's probably going to take that pretty personally.
Yeah.
So. But hey, let us know what you think. Do you think the manager was right to leave Sterling out? Do you think he should have approached it differently and perhaps just had a word with him, but continued to play Sterling? Let us know. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Keep on watching the show. We appreciate all the positive comments and all the constructive criticisms. Big C, tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, Curtis Shaw TV. Keep supporting, and hopefully Arsenal can turn it around after the international break.
I'm staying confident we can. In the meantime, keep watching.